This is Late Edition with Wolf Blitzer.
Welcome back to the second hour of Late Edition. As U.S. military forces carry out the war plan in Iraq, private U.S. security firms are taking the lead in protecting thousands of American diplomats and other Americans in the war zone. One of those companies is Blackwater. Right now, though, it's under investigation for its actions during an incident last month that left 17 Iraqi civilians dead. The company's founder, Erik Prince, testified before Congress on October 2nd. He's joining us here on Late Edition right now. Erik Prince, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
All right, what exactly happened? You've spoken, I assume, to your contractors who were involved in that incident. 17 Iraqi civilians, by almost all accounts, dead, 27 wounded, including women and children. What happened?
It was very much a normal run-of-the-day mission. I can't speak to the exact specifics of it, but we had a team out protecting a U.S. diplomat doing some kind of reconstruction meeting, and one of the team, there was a large car bomb that blew up outside their venue, which the team made a decision to move that person back to the green zone, back to an area of more safety. One of the other teams went to clear a traffic circle to allow their quick egress. You have to understand, bad things in Iraq generally don't happen by themselves. There's generally complex attacks that occur.
So there was a car bombing, and as these guys were moving around trying to protect this American diplomat, they say they heard fire against them, and then they opened up fire in the process, killing these Iraqi civilians. Is that right?
As far as we know, I've seen some of the incident reports. There is a full-on FBI investigation ongoing, and I'll withhold any specific judgments until they issue their report.
Because a lot of the evidence, at least in a lot of these press accounts and what officials are saying, points that there was no fire against the Blackwater security guards. Lieutenant Colonel Mike Tarsa, U.S. Army, was quoted in the Washington Post as saying, it appeared to me they were fleeing the scene when they were engaged. It had every indication of an excessive shooting. I did not see anything that indicated they were fired upon. And he and his unit got to the scene at the square about 20 or 25 minutes after the incident.
Well, all I can say is, with the incident reports I've seen, at least 3 of our armored vehicles were hit by small arms fire incoming, and one of them was damaged, which actually delayed their departure from the traffic circle while they tried to rig a tow. So there was definitely incoming small arms fire from insurgents.
The suggestion, though, is in other press accounts that they've looked at the various weaponry, the various ammunition that was found on the scene, and they didn't see any evidence that there was any incoming fire against your guys.
It was a very big traffic circle. I think they would have needed almost a battalion to secure that entire area to do a thermal crime scene type investigation. So the jury's still out. We'll see what the FBI report comes up with, but I'm confident. The kind of people we have out there are proven military professionals. They have typically 8 years or more experience. It's essentially all sergeants type people that are doing that job.
Former U.S. Army or
former U.S. military,
special operations.
They served honorably, or law enforcement personnel that served in SWAT teams. They go through extensive training, government dictated. The recruiting, the vetting, the resume standards, psychological evaluations, criminal background checks, security clearances, hundreds of hours of training. Then they get there. They do similar work to what they were doing before in the U.S. military. In this case, they're there to be a defensive screen to protect diplomats doing these kind of reconstruction missions.
Here's from the New York Times yesterday. 3 witnesses, Kurds on a rooftop overlooking the scene, said they had observed no gunfire that could have provoked the shooting by Blackwater guards. American soldiers who arrived minutes later found shell casings from guns used normally by American contractors as well as by the American military. But as I said earlier, they say they found no evidence of any casings or shells by weapons used normally by insurgents.
Our vehicles were hit by small arms fire. One of them was damaged. I guarantee our guys weren't shooting at each other. So something damaged those armored vehicles. And again, the FBI is doing the investigation, and I hope it's complete soon.
And the individuals, the contractors from Blackwater who were involved in this incident, I take it they're all still in Iraq. Are they cooperating? Are they talking to the FBI as part of this investigation?
They're fully cooperating with the FBI, as are we as a company. We support accountability. I mean, again, we send professionals over there to do a job. We do, dictated by the U.S. government, by the State Department who hires us. We recruit, vet, equip, train, and deploy them, and then we turn them over to the operational control to the U.S. government. We don't, it's not, they dictate the missions, they dictate the vehicles, they provide the weapons, they tell us where to go and what to do. The men work for them.
How many private security contractors does Blackwater have in Iraq right now protecting U.S. officials?
approximately 1,000.
Approximately 1,000. All right. This is what the Iraqi government spokesman Ali al-Dabagh said on October 7th. He said, "This is a deliberate crime against civilians. It should be tried in court, and the victims should be compensated." In fact, there has been a lawsuit filed against Blackwater, and among other things, alleging Blackwater created and fostered a culture of lawlessness amongst its employees, encouraging them to act in the company's financial interests at the expense of innocent human life. You want to comment on this lawsuit and what the Iraqi spokesman said?
Well, sure. First to the lawsuit, the lawyers, the trial lawyers that filed this lawsuit are the same guys that defended the World Trade Center bombings in 1993, the Blind Sheikh, and have defended a bunch of killers of FBI agents and other cops. So this is very much a politically motivated lawsuit for media attention. As to the statement, you know, there was no deliberate murder, deliberate violence by our guys. They've done 16,500 personal security detail type missions, just like this one on September 16. 16,500 since 2005. Less than 1% resulted in any discharge of a firearm by our people. We have very clear dictates for any incident report. Anytime a weapon is fired, it has to be reported. There's an immediate after-action investigation follow-up by the Regional Security Office, by the State Department, who we work for. So in Baghdad, in the most dangerous city in the world, to say that it was a callous, rampant, evil action. You know, when the guys get it right 99 out of 100 times and don't have to use any force or any violence at all, I think they're doing very well.
But as you know, every organization is capable of making mistakes, and human beings are human beings. Is it possible that in this particular incident, someone screwed up?